Have you ever wondered why Austria has become what it is today? Well, today I will tell you that in the history of Austria. The area that is now Austria was settled in pre-Roman times by various Celtic tribes, having been the core of the Hallstatt culture by the 6th century BC. The city of Hallstatt, in fact, has the oldest archaeological evidence of the Celts in Europe. The Celtic kingdom of Noricum, that included most of modern Austria and parts of modern Slovenia, was conquered by the Roman Empire in 16 BC and made a province called Noricum, which lasted until the year of 476. After the fall of the Roman Empire, German tribes conquered and ruled the Austrian land for many centuries to come. But then in 487, most of modern Austria was conquered by the barbarians and incorporated into the Kingdom of Italy. After that, many tribes took over Austria because it was the center of Europe and has valuable land. The king of the Franks conquered the area in 788 AD and introduced Christianity as a part of Eastern Francia. But then they split into West and East, West being the future France and East being the future Germany and Austria. The first record showing the name Austria is from 996, where it was written as, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, referring to the territory of the Babenberg March. In 1156, the Privilegium Minus elevated Austria to the status of a duchy. The Habsburgs controlled Austria for many more centuries to come and taking over a lot of land in the process, like the Netherlands, and soon after they acquired Spain and its Italian, African, and Asian and New World lands to the Habsburgs. In 1526, Bohemia and a part of Hungary came under Austrian rule, and the Austrians and the Ottomans had many conflicts, primarily around Hungary and the Balkans, that would last hundreds and hundreds of years. With the rise of Prussia, the Prussian and Austrian rivalry began in Germany. Austria participated together with Prussia and Russia in the first and the third of the three partitions of Poland in 1772 and 1795, respectively. Austria later came under war with Napoleon of France, which was unsuccessful in the beginning, and Napoleon killed off the Holy Roman Empire. 2 years earlier, the Empire of Austria was founded. From 1792 to 1801, the Austrians had suffered 754,000 casualties. In 1814, Austria was part of the Allied forces that invaded France and brought to the end the Napoleonic Wars. It emerged from the Congress of Vienna in 1815 as one of the continent's four dominant powers and a recognized great power. The same year, the German Confederation was founded under the presidency of Austria. Because of unsolved social, political, and national conflicts, the German lands were shaken by the 1848 revolutions, aiming to create a unified Germany. Austria and Germany fought Denmark to get the independence of the duchies of the two provinces that modernly border Denmark. I'm not going to try to pronounce. The Austrians defeated the Hungarian Revolution of 1848, and to prevent more unrest, Austria decided to have a dual sovereignty with Hungary, thus forming the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The Austrian-Hungarian rule of this diverse empire included various groups, including Germans, Hungarians, Croats, Czechs, Poles, Russians, Serbs, Slovaks, Slovenes, and Ukrainians, as well as large Italian and Romanian communities. As the second constitutional era began the Ottoman Empire, Austria-Hungary took the opportunity to annex Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1908. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo in 1914 by Bosnian Serb was used by leading Austrian politicians and generals to persuade the emperor to declare war on Serbia, thereby risking and prompting the outbreak of World War I, which eventually led to the dissolution of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Over 1 million Austro-Hungarian soldiers died in World War I. The German-speaking parts of Austria, which had been a part of Austria-Hungary, were reduced to a rump state called the Republic of German Austria. The desire for an annexation of Austria to Germany was a popular opinion shared by all social circles in both Austria and Germany. The treaties, like the Treaty of Versailles, also forced German Austria to rename itself as Republic of Austria, which consequently led to the First Austrian Republic. Over 3 million German-speaking Austrians found themselves living outside the new Austrian Republic as minorities in the newly formed or enlarged states of Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Hungary, and Italy. These include the provinces of South Tyrol and German Bohemia. The status of German Bohemia and Sudetenland later played a role in World War II. After the war, inflation began to devalue the krone, which was the Austrian currency. In autumn 1922, Austria was granted an international loan supervised by the League of Nations. The purpose of the loan was to avert bankruptcy, stabilize the currency, and improve Austria's general economic condition. The loan meant that Austria passed from an independent state to the control exercised by the League of Nations. In 1925, the Austrian Schilling was introduced, replacing the krone at a rate of 10,000 to 1. Later, it was renamed the Alpine dollar due to its stability. From 1925 to 1929, the economy enjoyed a short high before nearly crashing after Black Tuesday. The First Austrian Republic lasted until 1933, when a chancellor, using what he called self-switch-off of parliament, established an autocratic regime tending towards Italian fascism. On March 12, 1938, Austrian Nazis took over the government, while German troops occupied the country. On March 13, 1938, the Anschluss of Austria was officially declared. 2 days later, Austrian-born Adolf Hitler announced what he called the reunification of his home country with the rest of the German Reich. He established a referendum which confirmed the union with Germany in April 1938. About the rest of the World War II, things could be said about every other country in World War II, so I will talk about the main other World War II things that include Austria in the Germany video. But resuming, Vienna fell on April 13, 1945, during the Soviet Vienna offensive, just before the total collapse of the Third Reich. The leaders of every group in Austria agreed to declare Austria's secession from the Third Reich by the Declaration of Independence on April 27, 1945, and set up a provisional government in Vienna under State Chancellor Renner the same day, with the approval of the victorious Red Army and backed by Joseph Stalin. The total number of Austrian military deaths from 1939 to 1945 was 260,000. The total number of Jewish Austrian Holocaust victims was 65,000. About 140,000 Jewish Austrians have lived in the country in 1938 to 39. On May 15, 1955, after talks which lasted for years and were influenced by the Cold War, Austria regained full independence by concluding the Austrian State Treaty with the Allies of World War II. On October 26, 1955, all occupation troops had left, and Austria declared its permanent neutrality by an act of parliament, which is the reason why it's not in NATO. This day is now Austria's National Day, a public holiday. The political system of the Second Republic is based on the Constitution of 1920 and 1929, which was reintroduced in 1945. Kurt Waldheim, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, was elected President of Austria from 1986 to 1992. Following a referendum in 1994, at which consent reached a majority of 2/3, the country became a member of the European Union on January 1, 1995. Austria is a member of NATO's Partnership for Peace, but not fully in. And Austria is in the Schengen area. That is about it for Austria. On to some stats and geography facts. Austria's capital is Vienna. They have a land area of 83,879 square kilometers, with a population of just over 9 million. Nominal GDP is 540 billion, with per capita being 59,000. Purchasing power party does not count. That is it for the history of Austria. Make sure to subscribe, and see you next time on Azerbaijan.